C and B. All right, everybody. Welcome back. Are we live?
You don't have to always do that.
Are we live? All right. Well, thank you all for being here today. Welcome back to another episode of the 307 podcast. Today we did Team PT.
No.
And me and Chili, we went out and ran a big old loop. I mean, a big loop. All kinds of climbing. And we got back, and we, figured, Corn, he was doing 2 miles, so we figured, like, he'll be back when we get there. And we get back, and he's not. And initially, we say, all right. So we start drying off. My family's there because they just showed up to walk their dog or whatever. Their dog, not mine. And so we was talking to them, drying off, and probably 20 minutes passes, and we're like, you think he's all right? Like, and Chili said, I bet he's doing it the second time. And I said,
I was like, he had to have been.
And I said, well, either that or he went and hit some laps on that hill.
Exactly.
Right over there. And
there's literally no other option.
And I said, Chili, will you call him? And he said, I would, but I'm updating my watch right now. He was updating his watch, so he was not able to do anything.
Via Bluetooth.
So I said, well, fine, I'll call him. I called Corn up and said, where you at, bub? He said, I'm coming down that hill. So I'm doing all I can not to fall. I said, good night, Corn. You need us to come get you? He's like, if one of y'all come get this bag, that'd be good, because I done bow fell 3 times. I said, oh my gosh. He's like, well, watch this. 2.4 miles. But, and he was talking like he was a long ways off, and I said, well, we can come get you. Do you think we need to bring the med kit with us or whatever? And he's like, nah, y'all can just come up here, but I can see the parking lot. So we're like, good gosh, me and Chili was on high alert, and here he come down the hill. He made it all the way back without us getting his sack from him or nothing. And he managed to get in 2.4 miles. 2.6 after we ran that big loop, me and Chili.
Not to mention got back 20 minutes before.
Yeah.
Y'all don't believe none of that crap. Like,
well, I would believe some of it for sure.
well, I mean, yeah, y'all did get back before me, but the story didn't go like Blake said, number one. And we was doing 2 teetotal different things.
Teetotal.
What was the difference? The route?
Well, yeah, the route, number 1. The elevation, number 2. I had weight on my back, number 3.
The distance, number 3.
And I mean, yeah, the distance was different. Yeah, so, yeah, y'all don't believe that crap.
I knew it was going to be a tough track for him, but I did not think.
Evidently, the time was a lot different, too.
Yeah, I think Blake sort of forgot how steep it was. I do really think you sort of forgot.
No, I remember.
I know you've been up it.
I did it not long ago.
Yeah. Rucking?
Running. Yeah.
We're not going to start this crap where rucking is somehow superior to running. We're not going to start that. Like, oh, you just ran 100 miles? Well, have you ever put on 30 pounds and walked down the street?
You said he only had 15 pounds in his sack.
Well, that's what it felt like.
Don't even make a 15-pound plate.
That's what it felt like.
You could do a 10 in the 5, though.
But let's not skirt past the fact that rucking, what's so superior about it?
Hey, just let's keep moving.
So, good job today, Corn. I
put
knew
in a lot more time than y'all did.
I can't agree with that.
Toting a lot more weight than what y'all did.
Yeah.
Good job on that, too.
Yeah.
Thank you, Bub.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
I knew that was
going
to be a challenging
more elevation
track.
than what y'all did, too.
Yeah.
Thank you for that, too.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chili.
Not a lot more.
I mean, I'm almost half. 500 something.
He did almost half.
Not almost half more. Yeah.
You would say twice as much.
No, I say half.
Half more.
Yeah.
I did
1,000% decrease.
So,
right.
yeah, that was a good PT. Me and Chili run a big old loop. I mean, we got in many miles.
Yeah.
Many miles. Run the whole thing. Didn't none of us walk.
I did see a pretty good little velvet buck up there.
Oh, yeah?
Which, a velvet buck always looks bigger than what they actually were. But
Yeah.
I was like, you look nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sure did.
That's a deer sanctuary.
So, yeah, that was a good PT today. I got a good sweat in, corn dead, got a lot of elevation gain. Did you add that to the ruck challenge miles?
Yeah. Well, Blake don't know that the Reaper struck.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
The Reaper struck.
We were talking about
They thought they hit 2,000 miles. In fact, they didn't.
Then the Reaper come along and took his 106 miles back.
Oh, crap.
So he put him about a day and a half
What did
behind.
they say about that?
Oh, well, they rogered up. They got it back.
Yeah?
Yeah,
Oh, did they?
They got their miles back. But
Yeah.
Now the Reapers.
Who got the most miles back?
Oh, I don't know.
You don't know?
No, I don't know.
They all stepped up, though.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Good. Yeah, you got to watch out when you got a Reaper on board. That joker is about to pull some stuff on you.
When does the first challenge start?
August the 4th.
And what is that first challenge again?
It's fastest 5-mile, 40-pound ruck.
Okay. Yeah. Who's going to win that one?
I don't know. There's some fast jokers in there. There's some fastins.
Fastest 40-pound, 5-mile ruck.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some contenders for that.
Yeah.
You going to try to win it?
I mean, I'm going to try, but, I also understand reality. That probably ain't going to
God, he's been doing that lately. Poopy pants.
No,
Well, he just knows that's not his forte.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
I mean,
They're going to get crushed on the rest of it.
I mean, you put on 60 pounds and went and did your PR mile.
My knee's still feeling that. That was not the best idea.
Well,
that was not the best idea. But I'll do it with 40.
Well, before we get into this podcast, I'm going to tell y'all all this stuff we've been doing. That's why we have to have HOIST.
Couldn't do it without it.
I mean, look, hold on.
Take you a jerk off that bulb.
Huh.
He took that guzzle.
That 5-star punch is where it's at.
that's what I drank after the run.
Got a little bit of a tart flavor to it.
Yeah.
Like I told y'all last time, if you're out doing stuff, you need to be drinking HOIST. If you're sitting on the couch, HOIST may not like me telling y'all this, but you don't need to be drinking it. You're going to get fat. You sit around and drink stuff like this, you're going to get fat because
It's got too much
ain't
salt
doing
for
nothing.
you if you ain't sweating at all.
yeah. So this stuff right here will treat you right. You been drinking this with all your rucking?
Oh, yeah.
You need to pour some on that hat. Look how long is that sunscreen or sweat on your hat?
Well, it's sweat, bub.
Well, I know you big on
salt.
sunscreen too.
That's salt, son.
See? See, that's why you got to drink HOIST, ain't it?
Yeah, oh, yeah.
All stuck in your hat.
Believe that.
This stuff is good. It is. It's got everything you need in it: sodium, calcium, potassium, magnesium, and sugar. All the stuff you need. You need all of that in your body, and it's good. Don't have no dyes in it, no preservatives. It'll actually mold on you if you open it up and you don't drink it after a week or so. It'll mold up on you, and that's good. You
Who
want
don't
your
drink
stuff.
it after a week?
Well, I did one time. Took a pull off of it and put it back in my range bag and forgot it was in there. And I found it later. I said, "Oh, I'm gonna get me another pull off of that," and I did with the mold in it. The mold that even grows in this is good for you.
Well, corn eats mold.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll eat it.
It's sitting in a moldy room.
It ain't that bad.
You eat a moldy blackberry, all that stuff.
Yeah.
So, you guys, if you're out getting after it, doing hard stuff, drink your HOIST. You can drink it while you're running. You can drink it when you stop. And if you're staying busy, you can drink it for dinner.
Yeah.
With your meal, like with a bowl of chili or something.
Oh, yeah, it's real good.
You get it out, and you get you a bite of that chili, and then you get you some HOIST, and you say, that's good. It enhances your meals, but you have to be getting after it to be able to utilize it for that function. You're not just going to – don't do it.
Dang.
If you're not getting after it.
It's
So
a deep cut reference right there.
yeah. So thank you, HOIST, for supporting the podcast and being a partner with us for a long time. You guys go check them out. Supporting the companies that support us and partner with us mean a lot to us and help us to be able to continue doing that. So y'all go check them out. You can buy these in the store now. I think all the Publixes across the face of the country.
Kroger.
Not the earth,
Do
but
they?
the country. Carry.
Food City.
HOIST now. Yeah, Kroger, but Publix is consistent. They've all got them.
Yeah.
I think they're in some Walmarts, some gas stations, filling stations, different things. So
convenience
thank you guys.
stores.
Thank you, HOIST, for supporting us with that. So I want to talk a little bit, Chili, about Israel. What is I wasn't here for the conversation y'all had about that, but what is people?
What? You weren't? Mm-mm. When I went off the rails on Ted Cruz? No. You weren't here? Oh.
What is people's hang up with Israel? Like, what is the thing?
Well, a few weeks ago, lately, Israel is all anybody talks about.
Really?
Have you noticed that?
Yeah.
Part of it is maybe, you kind of see what you're looking for in a sense. YouTube algorithms.
Israel as in the country.
Yeah. YouTube algorithms kind of working that way, obviously, that they feed you what you watch. You're like, well, dang, all I ever see is bad stuff and bad news. Well, it's because that's what you watch. Mm-hmm. That's what you click on. You can watch other things and get recommended uplifting things if that's what you watch. But I watch a lot about that, I guess, so that is what it's showing me. But just beyond that, I think attest to that is being pushed and talked about at large.
But what are they talking about? What is people's discussion around that?
Currently, the atrocities that is going on in the Middle East, namely the Gaza Strip, with the country of Israel, basically holding these people hostage and denying aid and starving a population of people that are in this certain area because...
Which are the Palestinians?
Yeah, there's this Gaza Strip that essentially people lived in normal residences, but the IDF comes in and says, hey, you got to move out of here because, this is we're at war, essentially. So, for your safety, you need to move. Well, it moved them into this certain area where, they forced them out of their homes, essentially, because of a war. And then now they're in this location, and they have no way of basically providing for themselves or eating. And Israel is not giving them the aid that they need. Of course, they say they are, but they say that the radicals in that area are stealing it, which I do think that is happening.
Yeah. But
it's a complicated situation of where, you're at war, you're driving some people out of their homes, and then you're not giving them aid or allowing aid in there. And
almost like we did to the Indians.
Yeah, they are sending them some aid, but then, there is the group called Hamas that's radicals that are coming in and stealing it. I'm not, you always have to act like, you always have to say, well, I don't support Hamas. Well, no crap. But...
That's on the Israeli side?
Hamas is a anti-Israeli Islamic
and they're stealing from
group.
The Israels for what they need.
They're stealing from the Palestinians themselves.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so what's happened, it's complicated because, Israel is constantly attacked by Hamas and these other groups that are radical Islamists, a lot of times funded by Iran. And these groups pop up in multiple countries, but in that specific area, Hamas is a predominant force, and they are evil, right? They will attack Israel from positions where, like a school or something, or a hospital, basically to where if Israel retaliates, it's like, dang, what are they going to do? Bomb that school or that church? That looks awful. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? But I just think the whole thing is mismanaged, and I don't think there's any good guy in the situation because of what Israel's chosen to do as a country with these people and, drive them out of their homes. And then now Israel is even attacking some of the areas on the Gaza Strip that they're not even being attacked from. It's a whole cluster. Mm-hmm. And there's just people that come down on both sides, different sides of the aisle. There's a fervent group that supports Israel and just keeps repeatedly saying, I believe in Israel's right to exist, which I don't even know why that's just become a trope to keep saying, in my opinion. that's just a weird thing to say. It's nobody's even talking about that. They're talking about if this is being handled correctly. But you've got the side that supports Israel, and then you've got the side that is protesting, a lot of times in America on college campuses, for the Gazans, the Palestinians that are being starved in this location, kind of in a camp.
Yeah.
So you've got both sides of the, a lot of times there's nobody in the real middle that will acknowledge, like, okay, Israel is being attacked by radical Islamists. That's not, but they are also essentially carrying out, in my opinion, what looks to be an intentional starvation and killing of a group of people. Mm-hmm. No one will kind of acknowledge that there's problems on both sides of that.
Yeah.
It's either Israel's the good guys or you support the Palestinians, including kind of Hamas.
Like anything else, you can't be in the middle.
Yeah.
The people are going to push you to one side. Or
there seems to be no acknowledgement of, that there is a middle ground with this situation, that neither side is really the good guy. I mean, the Palestinian people themselves that are being starved that have nothing to do with Hamas, I mean, if you don't have sympathy for that, even if you agree with Israel's actions, I mean, there are people being starved that aren't doing anything radical. Like, that is horrible.
Yeah.
That's sad, so, like, that's for sure.
And people are supporting Israel so much because of the Bible? Is that why?
Yeah, it was funny. A few weeks ago when you weren't here, we had this discussion about it, and I went on a rant going off about how there's politicians in America that all receive money from, IPAC, which is essentially this, they get around saying that they're a lobbyist group, but that's what they are. They pay off basically every single politician and congressman in the United States, dang near all of them. They receive a lot of money from that organization to essentially make decisions in Congress that benefit Israel, right? I mean, that's how that works. And it was so funny because we were doing this podcast, Tucker Carlson was doing an interview at the exact same time. I think it was coming out on YouTube with Ted Cruz, congressman in Texas, about going to war with Iran at the time and why the United States supports Israel like we do, and asking Ted Cruz his position on that. And I kept saying, like, these crazy U.S. politicians who support Israel and don't even understand why and for no reason, just blindly, like Lindsey Graham and Ted Cruz. And I kept saying that. And then at the time this interview was coming out with Ted Cruz that I later went back and watched, and it was hilarious because Tucker Carlson asked, basically, why do you support Israel like this? And Ted Cruz went on this diatribe about how, well, back when I was growing up in Sunday school, I was always taught, I mean, this is pretty much verbatim what he said, that those who bless Israel will be blessed and those who curse Israel will be cursed. And I believe that the Lord commands us to support Israel. And Tucker was like, it was funny because he was like, where in the Bible is that? And Ted didn't know the reference. And he was like, what's in Genesis? But anyway, why do you think that means the current nation state of Israel? Like, do you think that's who that's talking about? Like, what is Israel? And Ted basically was just like, what, you don't know what Israel is? Tucker was like, well, no, I really don't. Is it the country or the people? Like, what exactly do you mean? And Ted Cruz didn't have a real good answer for that. Just like most politicians that take money from these groups, they don't really, I think, even understand why it is they do what they do. But he said he went into Congress he essentially said for the purpose of supporting Israel. Like, that's why he wants to be in Congress.
Huh.
And I don't understand that, like what, I think there's a lot of confusion about that. And I think you would agree with that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it was interesting to me, I'm reading Old Testament. And so when Chad's not here on Wednesdays, we talk about the Old Testament a little bit. And, Jacob was named
It's very
Israel.
relevant. Oh, yeah.
He was named Israel.
Yep.
And when you read through that, and you start to see Israel, and then everything that people talk about Israel, you realize it is a country today, but it was also not a country at one time, and those things that were said were talking about the people of Jacob and the people. So
Exactly.
you get to Exodus. I'm now through Genesis and in Exodus, and it says, these are the names of the sons of Israel, and in parentheses, that is Jacob, who moved to Egypt with their father. You see, these people, you remember we talked last time about Joseph being sold into slavery, and he went to Egypt, right? And then all the famine hits, and all the sons and his family come back, and the Pharaoh at the time made a place for them to live, and they just populated and bred and had all these people, and they became this massive people. Well, a new Pharaoh comes in, and he don't know nothing about Joseph and what he did and what happened in the history of that. How that is, I don't know. How did the old Pharaoh go out and not say, hey, all these people right here, like, let me tell you about Joseph and kind of what happened and what's going. I don't know why that wasn't said. But then he sees them as a threat. And then that's why they're enslaved to these Egyptians in the first place, to Pharaoh. And you would say, like, you know, on one hand, that was God's doing, sending Joseph there to provide through the famine. But now they're only living there because of their sins, the sins of his brothers.
Yep.
Because had they not sold them to slavery, they wouldn't have been in there in the first place, and they'd have been somewhere totally else. So although it was God's doing, he used that for good. It was their own sin that brought them there. It's kind of this weird thing that we see a lot throughout our Christian walk. But at any rate, the new Pharaoh became intimidated by this and said, look, there's a bunch of people out there, and they could overthrow us pretty easy. Little did he know that was not their intentions. They were actually blessed by the old Pharaoh, and maybe there was something going on, but the initial people did not do that, did not have that in mind. I imagine they were thankful to have the place to live there with their family again. And so that's how they came to be. The people of Israel just came to be because Jacob was Israel. The people of Israel. It'd be like saying the people of Blake or the people of cornbread. Yeah. It's like, but since now we fast forward all these years and we have this nation called Israel, we can't comprehend that this started out as a lineage.
I agree.
And a group of people. It would be like the Rites.
Yeah.
Or the Scots or whatever. And then later on, you have Scotland, and then you have the Scots, and it's like, so they're confusing the two.
Well, it is confusing.
Yeah.
I mean, it is, because Israel is a place even beyond the country.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, it is an ancient place
that
has significance.
Yeah.
But equating, Jacob as Israel with the Jewish people, with this specific land called Israel, with the 1948 United Nations created sovereign country of Israel. I mean, those are not all the same thing.
Right.
Like those are all distinct things.
I wonder why they chose to name that place Israel in 1948. Why did they choose the name Israel? Was it biblically based?
Well, it was. I mean, that really.
Yeah, I mean that's where they believed the land was that God gave the Israeli people, and even geography in the Bible, though, it also talks, like I think it's in Ezekiel when they talk about the big battle that's supposed to happen. The king of the north supposed to come and surround Israel. Like in your normal everyday thinking, you're not going to say, well, it's going to surround the people of Israel.
That's probably what they read it to say.
Right? It may be, but here nowadays, that's a prophecy that's supposed to come to fruition, right? So,
it is a place.
Yeah.
I mean, for
so
sure.
why would it not be talking about a direct place that is going to be surrounded by all these vast armies?
There is scripture too that says the land of Israel.
Yep. Yeah.
100%.
And so I'm not saying it's not biblical to say the land, but what I am challenging people to think about and understand is that I think a lot of people will discount and don't fully understand what that means and how Israel came about and the start of it, and that it is a group of people was a group of people, is a group of people, however you want to see that. And where that gets to today, like, I don't know. Like, although we aren't direct descendants of Abraham, are we through the blood of Christ now? That can be a whole nother conversation. But, or descendants of Jacob, maybe you would say. And so it's important to go and read those things and understand that, because, I've read through Genesis and Exodus and different things, but, it's always interesting to go back and read through again years later after you've matured and developed a further and deeper understanding of things and things going on in the world different, and you read it and you say, that never really stood out to me now, but now I kind of get the genesis of how everything started and who these people were and how they came about, and when they were in slavery because of their sin. Like, how is that? Like, what did they do wrong to get that? And you see it. You read it all and you get the overall picture of it and gain more context. So it's interesting to me to see that, and I thought worthwhile to talk about. I'm not settling on any conclusion one way or the other. I usually fall in the middle and see value on both sides and can't really commit to either one. Yeah. And it's not that don't want to pick a side or play in the field. I just see value in many different decisions, and I can't really swing hard one way or the other. Yeah, I will generally lean to one, but it doesn't mean I just discount the whole other argument of it. So,
well, I mean, it's complicated because, like Corn said, it is a place, and you go back to this 1948 created state of Israel. It's just, the reason it's complicated is because it's not as simple as, well, I read this once and that's the truth of the history. It's complex how that all started. I mean, first of all, it's oftentimes looked at as a Islamic versus Jewish battle. Well, I mean, the battle over this land began way before Islam was even created. Yeah. Like, Islam was created when Muhammad lived in Mecca 600 years after Christ. Yeah. I mean, there's been conflict in this area way before that. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But then by the time you get to 1948 in modern times, there was this area called Palestine that the freaking British owned. Yeah. I mean, the British, for God's sakes. And they made a deal to transfer territories and then created this Jewish state, which I don't even really know what that means. Like, what did they think they were creating? I mean, do you think that the modern creation of the state of Israel was to try to allow for something biblical to happen? I mean, like, that's what...
Like, allow prophecy to happen?
Basically, yes. Like, that was the intention.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that was the intention or if it was just to try to get them back to the land that they believed was theirs, that was given to them by God.
But to do that in 1948, they took people from where, I mean, they displaced them.
Yeah, but the majority of those people had been displaced already from the Nazis.
Exactly.
And sent to the concentration
100%.
camps, pulled out of Germany, pulled out of Africa, pulled out of wherever they was at, and sent to other places.
It's so weird. Yeah, I mean,
and in a lot of cases they didn't have nowhere to go back to anyhow. That whole Europe and even Africa was just war torn.
And but that's another thing about the dang modern the Israel now, the country of Israel now. Most of the Jews there are of European descent. Yeah, I mean the daggum prime minister, Bibi Netanyahu. He's like I forget what his heritage is from. It's somewhere in Europe. Yeah. I mean, it's crazy. Like, it's all just this mismatch of how did we get here? Good night, It's not as straightforward as I think a lot of us make it out to be.
Yeah.
But
yeah, it's definitely gotten convoluted.
Oh yeah.
And then, you try to read scripture and apply that to something, and then you have all these exceptions because things have changed and different people are there now, but all we can do is read it for what it is.
Well, even now, like, you have to, like, I would hope that other countries, when they look at the United States, that they would disassociate our government with the people.
With our people.
Like,
Exactly.
and I believe in the majority of what goes on in this world. That's what probably how we should start looking at things. Disassociate the Russian people with the government that is running Russia. You know what I mean? And the Israeli government who is running Israel.
100%.
And the Iranian regime that's running Iran. Like, most of it, I would have to imagine that we're being lied to so much by all those governments that they don't represent anything to do with the people. Very little anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and another interesting thing about, Israel, I think a lot of people hear about Israel and, it's the holy place where Jesus lived, all these things happen, and they think, hey, that's a lot of Christians live there. But that's not the case at all. I think it's actually the most unreached country in the world. Like it has the smallest percent of Christians living in it because they're all what we would call Old Testament Jews, right? Yeah. They're following the Torah, really like the Pharisees and Sadducees, kind of how we view them. Not that these people are the religious elite and have these practices, but they do to an extent. Like they're still following this, what we call the Old Testament is actually their Bible. And so it's just another interesting thing. I mean, maybe a lot of people know that, but I think a lot of people think, like, oh, that's where Jesus was. That was the Holy Land. Like, everybody's there as a Christian, you need, but yeah, I think it's the Lord. I think it is the most unreached country in the world. So it's an interesting thing to consider.
Yeah, and it's also a very progressive government.
Yeah.
Over there in Israel. I mean, it's very progressive, very accepting, and, really promoting the LGBTQ movement. Oh, yeah. I mean, it's a very, you'd call it a progressive liberal government. And, that flies in the face of everything. It's just, there's so many weird things about it and trying to understand the full spectrum of it. So.
Yeah, there's a lot there. People talk about the Jews and things, and that some people think that they have this golden ticket to heaven, so to speak, and that they don't actually have to recognize Christ as the Messiah. And it's like, well, I guess if you don't value or give credit to the New Testament,
right?
But
that's
I mean, then. But all you're doing is cutting out the parts that don't line up with the way you think, rather than taking what we have and the letters of the people who were closest to Jesus. I mean, really, you're denying the death, burial, and resurrection, and the Bible literally says that is the only way. And so I don't know how people can think that. I think even some Christians think that. Some Christians that believe and would read the New Testament and say, this is what I believe, would say, but the Jews, they kind of have this golden ticket. And that, I mean, how can you say that? Have y'all heard people say that?
For sure. The Jews are God's chosen people. They're going to be good to go regardless.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what they do. Yeah. I mean, what sense does that even make? How can you reconcile that with the New Testament that no man comes to the Father except through me? I am the way, the truth, and the life. Right. I don't know how.
It is difficult for me to. I mean, just the fact or the statement of the Jews are or were, or I mean, whichever way anybody believed, whatever, regardless of the statement you want to say, God's chosen people is a hard thing to grasp. I mean, we've talked about that before, Corn. Like, that is because it goes against how, I won't say I want to think. Like, well, there's no, I mean, by saying that, you are saying and admitting that, well, there is some people by nature of their heritage that are set apart in some way.
Yeah.
But that goes against, like, how I want to think.
Well, and I think that was the case in the Old Testament. I mean, there's really no getting around that.
The whole Old Testament was
Right.
them, God saying do this and
Yeah.
them doing something, and God sticking with them and saying, all right, now do this.
Yeah.
And they do something, or maybe they do it for just a little while, and then they go to doing something
And
else.
Noah was God's chosen people.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
He saved them. And but then you get to the New Testament and you see there's neither Jew nor Greek, man nor woman. Like, it's almost like Jesus says, all right, all that stuff that y'all knew and that y'all thought, that's not the case anymore. This gospel is for the Gentiles. It's for the Jews. It's for the man, the woman, the Greeks, the Roman, all of the, so you kind of get the Old Testament and you see that, but then Jesus seems to fulfill that, I guess you would say, and not cancel it and do away with it, but really fulfill that and meet that need maybe for those. So
Doesn't the word Israel translate to wrestles with God?
yeah, that's why Jacob got that name because
he
remember we were talking that.
Got his hip pulled out.
Yeah, yep,
You get.
yep. So that's what the literal meaning of it is. So, but all of these things are good to consider. But for the new Christian, that I don't want people to get caught up in this because, this is good things for mature believers that have been following God for a while, that have a grasp on the gospel. These are good things to wrestle with and to think about. But it's important that we understand what the gospel actually is and what that means to us when we say, all right, that makes sense to me. I understand that. I do believe that and want to turn away from this old life that I've been living and now live this new life. And there's some scriptures I want to read and talk about. Scriptures like, let's see here. First one is in Luke 9:23-24, and he said to all, if anyone would come after me, let him deny himself and take up his cross daily and follow me. For whoever would save his life will lose it, but whoever loses his life for my sake will find it. Another one in 1 Corinthians chapter 6, you are not your own, you were bought with a price, so glorify God with your body. Galatians 2:20, it is no longer I who live, but Christ who lives in me. Now the life I live in the flesh, I live by the Son of God who loved me and gave himself for me. So we have these different verses, these different scriptures that would say, deny yourself daily, take up your cross daily. You are a new creation. It's not I who live, but Christ who lives in me. And so those, I think we read those sometimes and we really discount what they mean. Like those are really radical statements. And we say, yeah, I deny myself daily and take up my cross. And again, I always want to say, it's not about what you do, but what you do reveals your heart and where you're at and how you think. And so what does a life of full surrender to Christ look like? We read these verses, and I think we want to accept the gift, if you will, that God's given us to be able to have a relationship with him. And then we want to go, we say, got that. And then we say, deny yourself daily. Today I didn't want to get up at 8 or 7 or 6, whatever, but I did. Yeah, I didn't really want to say God bless you to that cash register. We've just really watered down what that means, I think. Yeah. And so I guess that's a question to y'all. What do you make of those verses, and what do you think that life looks like in light of those verses? Those are really extreme statements. That your life is not your own. You know what you get to do with things that ain't yours? Nothing, because they're not yours. Whatever. You drive down the road and there's a house there, And that house ain't yours, so guess what? You don't get to do nothing with it.
Yeah.
It ain't yours.
Yeah.
My life is not my own, and I must take up my cross every day and deny myself. And when I read those, I can't help but think that I am not living up to what those scriptures say. I do a lot of things that I want to do that aren't bad. I do sin. I even do things that are bad that I shouldn't do. But I also do a lot of things that aren't bad. But they're not done to honor God. What do y'all think of that?
Yeah, that's more along the lines of what I was thinking is like, how do you keep those wants beat down, those desires you have to and of yourself, whether it's to feed your ego or just feed something you really want to do, just to keep those beat down and look at it as, okay, I'm here to serve the Lord, and how daily, how am I to do that today? And even having a plan of how to look at that and perceive it, of course, through prayer and discernment, and because you can't help everyone. Like,
right.
You literally cannot help everyone, and there's probably some people you shouldn't be helping too.
Yeah.
There's probably some people that you're probably not the person to be helping that person. So through prayer and discernment that's the hardest one for me, because I can think, okay, well, I can do this and glorify God too. Like, but how do you really glorify God in something that you do other than just shouting glory to God all the time?
Yeah.
Like, how are you really doing it? Or are you just really shouting glory to God all the time?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question, because God does give us these desires to do these things. But I think, like, so say, if it was a race and you say, I really want to go run this race, and then you say, how can I honor God with this? It's the wrong order.
Yeah.
And then the next thing is you say, I want to do this race and I want to win this race. So I'm going to do everything I can. I'm going to eat right. I'm going to train right. I'm going to do all these things. And guess what you thought about that whole 6-8 month training block? Yeah. Not the Lord. Yeah. In your day-to-day walking around life, guess what you didn't think about? The Lord. Guess who you didn't care about? Anybody. And when turkey season comes in and you say, oh, I'm about to limit out this year, boy. Yeah. And when the things that I do, the tactical games, when you say, well, I'm going to do the best I can. And you spend all your time researching this gear and training up shooting and training up physically. Guess what you didn't think about and didn't care about? What the Lord says and what other people have to do, and because that's all your focus becomes. And so we always hear that the Lord has to be first in our life. And we say, yeah, he is, because I'm going to do the tactical games, and when I get there, I'm going to really, my actions and the way I portray myself is going to represent him well. And that ain't the case. When you're there, you're thinking about winning and doing the best you can. You ain't think. And so, to me, it's hard to go be a part of an event or do this thing that you're really passionate about doing, because you want to be the best at it. Like, we have this drive to be the best. And I think that does. I mean, I think that there's a part of that represents Christ well, the way that we show up. But how can we have him on our minds through that process of doing that? And, like for running, one thing, when I trained for the Jewel, I would always try to find somebody to go run and train with me, even if they were slower than me, not as good a runner as me, because community is where those valuable conversations happen and things. Yeah. And I know you do that a lot with turkey hunting. Yeah. You're always taking kids and people that hadn't been before, but that hadn't always been the case for you.
Right.
And I can say the same for myself with other things in my life. And so, but you know what happens when you do that? When you go run with people, you don't get as good a run in as you should have got, because you're running their pace and not your pace. You're training their training plan and not yours. When you take people hunting, you miss out on turkeys you're not as good. But I have to think that you're more in line with what Christ has called you to do. And you show up not as ready for the race, and you don't do as well in turkey season, and you don't do as well at these things you want to go do. But along the process that it took to get there, all the people that you got to spend time with, and because that's where valuable conversations happen. They don't happen at the local church. And, I mean, you might have some good conversations in your living room at your life group. Maybe you do. But real relationship and conversations happen when you get out and you do something together. I'm going to tell you what, you are not going to go to church and just have a relationship with a person because you both love Jesus. It ain't going to happen. You might talk to them here and there, but if that's the only thing you got in common, it's really hard to build a relationship with somebody. But if you both like to run, or if you both like to hunt, think about the people that you've met.
Yeah.
You're not friends with people because they love the Lord. I mean, you love them and they're your brother and you would do things to support them, but that's not who you're going to call your best friend. The best friend's the one you're going to spend the most time with out. And I mean, I think that's scriptural. The desires God gives us, we build community and bonds around that. And I think he just designed us that way. But the problem is we get so focused on the end result.
Yeah.
I mean, so that's a long-winded answer, but
no, that's good.
To
that's
kind of how you're.
Yeah. And you realize that when you're done with, y'all two for running or whatever, like, good gosh, that joker slowed me down, you know what I mean? Or, man, if I hadn't had that cull with me, I could have killed a turkey or something. But you don't really think about that because you was building, that rapport there and having that fellowship. But was you having it for the Lord, or was you just doing it to have somebody with you?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Or you say, man, I really want turkey hunt, but I don't know, I shouldn't be going if I didn't bring someone. And then you have you say, I'm going to bring them along so I feel good about going. Yeah. And the whole time you trying to kill a turkey, or you trying to really get the run that you wanted to get in. And so it's hard to stay focused on that. But it's a further death to yourself. And you say, I don't care really how good my run is today. This person is my focus. I don't care how good my hunt is today. This person is my focus. I mean, kids, I bring Blakely, we'll go run. You'd think I wouldn't get a lot better run in if she wasn't with me. Yeah, but that's not what it's about. Or, they bike and me and Kat just walk. And I'm, sometimes I'm thinking, I need to be getting a different exercise than this. But that's just what the relationships people are more important than the thing that we're wanting to gain in the end. And, ties into something like Chad was talking about. You laying on your deathbed, you're going to be thinking, I remember them good training runs I got in and how good I did at that race. It's never about yourself. Right, it's always about, man, that time with so-and-so, that was a good time, man. We had a lot of fun doing that.
Yeah.
And it's not about having fun, but like I got to share this with that person, and through our time together, they were built up, and because of that, they gained confidence in who they are in the Lord, and now they're on to doing these other things. And and it's not always about what you can give too. I mean, the Lord uses other people for you to receive too. Yeah, you're 100% right. Yeah, that's probably another fault. Is you're always thinking, what can I do to help these?
I'm the one that's bringing something to the table.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's me.
Yeah.
No, bub. Not all the time.
What you think on that, Chili?
Yeah, I think, my theory of behavior is all tied to desire, and basically you always do. Well, humans have all kinds of competing desires, You feel that whenever you are trying to train for something and you want to go run because you have this goal, but you also are kind of like, yeah, but I don't really want to run today.
Yeah.
Well, you have a competing desire, And some days you might choose to sit on the couch, and some days you might choose to go out there and run anyway. Well, what won out, what ultimately was your behavior that day was because of that desire won out over the other one, and like you were saying, I don't think our desires are bad. We were created that way. I believe my environment growing up influenced this a little bit, I don't know the degree. You know, my dad being a runner and wanting to be like him, you know, all that. But I also just think there was something kind of in there that I was created to like to run. Yeah. You know, I mean, with that inclination. So I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And can running be used for the Lord, or can good things come from it? Absolutely. It has in my life. Like, I mean, me running and being a runner has been used to help people despite myself.
Yeah.
I mean, it has been. So it's not a question of if it can be. It's a question of like how, like Blake's saying, you know, how do you not just go, well, I want to do this race, so I'm going to do it, and how can I figure out how to make this Lord? No, how does that really work, or should that work? And I think the answer lies in not eliminating those desires to turkey hunt or to run or do anything, but it's somehow manipulating your desires in a way to where those don't go away, but always what takes precedence is your desire to serve the Lord.
Yeah.
When that's the case, you will still do things.
Yeah.
You will still run, but there may be and you will still train for something. You may even want to win. I think this is possible now. Like you want to go win some 100-mile race and your training looks like this. I mean, you prepare for it. You figure it out. You don't just wing it because you're like, well, I can't focus too much on it. No, you figure it out. But it looks like anytime there's an opportunity that comes up that would take you away from your run, but becomes evident that, like, you know, you feel like, I don't ever know how to say that, because it's not just about a feeling, but, you know, you're being called to do something else. Yeah. You're being pulled in a different direction. This opportunity comes up that is, you know, in service of the Lord or to help somebody. Well, that has to always win out. Yeah. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I mean, despite your desire that's there to just go do your thing. And, you know, I can just relate it back to the time that I always reference where I was so obsessed with it. That just never won out.
Yeah.
I mean, never. That always came up, and I would go, yeah, but I got to run. Mm-hmm. Like, that's what won out every time, because that's what took priority. Yeah. I mean, that's what I desired more. I desired getting my training in far more than serving the Lord.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I think you can have both of those desires, and that's not wrong.
Yeah.
It's wrong when it wins out every time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, so how do you basically manipulate yourself to say, well, that's what I'm going to do? I mean, that is what I desire more than just running, and that's what I'm going to do. How do you decide to do that and never trip up? I mean, that's tough. That part of it is what I don't really know how you do, other than just all the things that we always say of, like, that's a result of drawing nearer to the Lord and choosing to pray and spend more time with him and ask for that.
Yeah.
But, you know, when you're just straight up having a hard time laying that down, how do you just all of a sudden turn it off and not want to do it as bad? I don't know. Yeah. That's tough.
Yeah, I mean, I think for me it really is a matter of like, if you don't get up and read your Bible every day, that's fine. But if you're thinking throughout the day, what does the Lord think about what I'm doing right now and the reason I'm going there to do it? If you can keep that in your mind, the reading the Bible is important. But I would say if you could keep that in your mind first, if that was where your effort needed to be, then start there. Yeah. And then you're going to start reading. You're going to want to know more. Like, well, what does it mean? Like, how should I be responding to this situation? And you're going to go look. Yeah. And it's going to, these people say, I have a hard time studying the Bible. Like, how should I study the Bible? Where should I read? And you know why you have a hard time doing it? Because you're not thinking throughout the day of what the Lord thinks about these actions and these thoughts that you're having and what you're doing. Because if you were, you would have 1,500 questions about how should I be responding in this situation? Or is this right or wrong? And then you go look that up and study about it. Yeah. You should never be like, and I've been there. So I'm not saying you're wrong if you have. I have been to the point where I say, I don't really know I just kind of feel dead right now. Like, I don't know if I should read this or that or this. But if you get in that position, start thinking through your day-to-day life of pondering the Lord more often and what he thinks about how you're responding and the things you're thinking about and the people you're spending time with and how you're spending your money, and you'll have some things to start studying.
Well, the word says, as in all things, do it as if you're doing it for the Lord.
Exactly.
Like, how else would you even have a foot to stand on to try to do that if you're not contemplating that regularly?
And that's a good point. People use that as saying you need to work hard. Mm-hmm. Don't you? Do you think that do everything as you're doing it for the Lord? And they say, "Well, at work, oh gosh, I don't want to do this." Yeah. But I'm gonna need to do it like I'm doing it for the Lord, so I need to work hard. But that's a good point. I think that gives a lot more credence to that verse and understanding of it. That everything. Think about that you're doing it for the Lord, not for this person and I mean, that's how you need to be doing it.
Right.
And if you think about those things, you'll have plenty of questions and plenty of things to look up in words and different things to study. Go to the back of your Bible into the, what they call it, the concordance.
Yeah.
And look up a word.
Well, yeah, that's what I was going to say. There's nothing wrong with studying the Bible, when you're pondering things and you realize, oh man, you're really anxious and everything. Well, go study what the Bible says about worrying. And I mean, when you're dealing with somebody else struggling with something, there's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
you know, I mean, really, that's probably what should be done way more often.
I would say that's probably one of the biggest questions, especially for a new Christian, but even a mature Christian sometimes would say, I don't know, or who would call themselves mature, I don't really know what I should be studying, or how should I study the Bible? And there's all these theories and these formats, get through the Bible in a year, read this first, read that first. And if you're just starting out, like, you need to grasp the gospel, that's fine. But as you go, there's going to be questions you have, and I would say that's what you ought to study.
Yeah. Well, the directions you could go with starting out studying the Bible is not truly limitless. There's not infinite options, but it is so many different ways you could do it.
Yeah.
And so many places to start and so many ways to start that I think that just people like things narrowed down.
Yeah.
When you have infinite options or infinite directions you could take something, then it might as well be none.
Yeah.
Because you go, I don't even know how to.
Yeah, you're just stuck.
I'm aimless. Like, what do you? So, I think people are always looking for that answer to narrow it down. Like, there's got to be an answer of where to start. It can't just truly be kind of anywhere.
Yeah.
But I mean that is kind of the answer within the Bible itself. Is like, it doesn't. I mean, just you have to just start.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's hard, I think, because you don't have a defined answer of like, well, this is where you should start.
Yeah. Like Chad started in Genesis. That's what he always tells, is he read that first time, space, and matter, and that made sense to him.
Right.
And but a lot of people would not point you to Genesis 1:1.
Yeah, I mean,
to start your your reading.
Yeah, but it's like, what's wrong with that?
Right.
I mean, is that the right answer? Well, I don't know. You're just looking for this right answer, but it's just.
Yeah, because then you go, some people tell you to start in John, and it says, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God.
Well, that connects to Genesis 1:1. Yeah. So.
And like, what does that mean? Strange does that sound to somebody who's never, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God? And they say, what? What does that mean?
Well, yeah, if I were to tell somebody where to start, I mean, I think good advice is Genesis 1:1.
Yeah. I
mean, that's a pretty logical place to start.
Yeah.
But it's not like anything else is wrong. That's the thing. But I think people want it to be wrong because they could just be told, well, this is it.
Well, and they also want it to make sense immediately.
Yeah.
And so people have to realize that anything we do, well, like we talked about, I guess, Monday, is that it's a lot of work for very marginal growth, I guess you would say. Increase in knowledge, maturity, wisdom. It's a lot of work. I think Eugene Peterson wrote the book called A Long Obedience in the Same Direction, and that's what it is. It's just a long period of time where you are obedient to the same thing, which is Christ in the Bible. And so that's a good place for people to start.
Yeah.
Think about what you're doing and why you're doing it, and you're going to have questions. We might save our anomaly for another cast, you think?
That's
Or
fine with me.
Should we get into that?
That's up to y'all, bub. That's up to y'all.
You got anything else you want to talk about?
Well, we had the Patreon questions.
Oh, yeah.
Y'all want
Do you have
Patreon?
some?
Come
Yeah.
on, Chili. Good night.
He got
man.
some from some superstars.
Why'd you just laugh? Actually, you didn't laugh. You scoffed. Hey.
This is gonna come from
Hit him with that face wipe.
the king of super chats, Marty Bingham.
Oh, wow.
Y'all remember Marty?
Don't ask me that.
It is in our nature to sin and be tempted. How do you explain to Christians that even though they have salvation, they will still have sin in their lives without making it sound like it's acceptable or a good get out of jail free card because it's our default setting to sin?
Yeah, that's a great question.
I think so too.
So he's basically asking, because of that, how do you explain to people that it's okay to really still have those temptations, although you are saved, and some of them you will succumb to?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, really, people are just going to grasp that through the Holy Spirit showing them that, because it doesn't make sense. But I think it's good for people to understand and know that, I don't know where it is. It's one of the letters that Paul wrote, and he's saying, should we just go on sinning then, that grace may abound? Well, no. And he's telling, and maybe it's in 1 Corinthians, and he's telling them, like, we have this grace from Jesus that he is not, that he's given us things we don't deserve, which is salvation, which is a relationship with the Father, to be able to go to him in prayer again. Yeah. And since he's given us that grace, should we just continue sinning? No, we shouldn't. And I would say that, explaining that to people would be getting them to explain and understanding what a gift that is, so that when they understand that, they're not, how can you take advantage of something like that someone has given you such a significant gift of? And the one that would want to take advantage of that, I would say, probably doesn't understand their salvation in the first place. So I think a true understanding of the gospel and salvation helps that process, and people continuing on and being okay with their sin. I think that's a big part of it too, is the repenting part, because although we will still be tempted, one, it doesn't mean we have to give in to every temptation, but two, that when you do sin, it doesn't mean that everything else is just null and void. It just means that we are human, and that's going to be a part of things. And how do you feel about that now that you've done that? I know Chili hates how do you feel, but are you like, well, that kind of sucked, I shouldn't have done that? Or are you like grieved about it? You shouldn't be like, oh man, now I'm going to hell now. I've just severed my relationship with the Lord. Or do you feel like, man, how could I do that? Knowing the things that I know and having the gift that I'm given, and when you feel like that, that's evidence of your repentance, that you don't want those things anymore. You want those things before you know Christ, but you don't want them anymore. And so I would say try to get people to fully understand what salvation is and that process, but then teach repentance too, because that's the big repent and believe. Yeah. Repent and believe. And how do you feel about those things now that that's the case?
The only problem I have with the feeling is I actually agree that that's an indication of your heart is when you do sin, what that does to you. And like you said, if you just go, I don't care.
Yeah.
Like, who cares? But it's just the problem with feeling is it's a subjective thing, and it leaves a lot of room for people to go, well, I felt bad about that, but did I feel bad enough?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if I felt guilty enough about that. Like, I did for a while, and I just kind of got over it. Life went on. Like, how tore up should I? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it just, any subjective feeling leaves that room for, especially minds that obsess and worry and go, well, dang, yeah, I mean, I didn't really feel that bad when I lied that time, recently. Like, I mean, I did, but it wasn't like earth shattering. You know what I'm saying? Like, you kind of just have this room for like, dang, did I feel bad enough about that? So that's just kind of the thing. I actually do agree that it is evidence of your heart whenever you don't just sin and go, well, I'm good, absolutely. But it's just tough because of that subjectivity to it. But I think the answer to Marty's question, well, I'm not good at articulating anything, and I definitely don't think I can articulate this well, but the actual question that he posed is a question that I struggle with a lot, and I think a lot of people do, but it once again, not that I can articulate it well, but I do believe that the answer lies somewhere in the difference in salvation and sanctification, because those are often conflated, but they are two separate things. Yeah. And salvation does not equate to sanctification, which is basically the process of becoming more like Christ to the point of perfection, like perfected in Christ. So that process, I mean, it is said that will not happen on this earth. That will not be fulfilled while you are alive. So if that process of sanctification, even after salvation, is not fulfilled on this earth, well, that's why you're going to still sin. Yeah. I mean, that is, like, I can't explain that in super depth, but that, without going into the detail that I can't even go into, that's why you still sin. Yeah. Because salvation is different than sanctification, and it doesn't mean you are immediately sanctified. So after salvation, that nature is not done away with. So that's why you'll still sin. So you're saved, you'll live a life that is different. That process has started. It's kind of like when Zach Dasher was on here, not yet now, like the kingdom of heaven is here, but not fully. Like it's not, we view it as it's either got to be fully here or fully not here. Well, It's not fully not here. Like, that's started. Right. I mean, you are entering, like, when that happens, you've entered the kingdom, but you're not, that's what we struggle with, that in between, that transitionary period. Like, I'm there, but I'm not there. Yeah. And that's just kind of, I think, that nature of sin that Marty talked about. Well, you're still in that nature of earth. I mean, salvation doesn't change the nature that you're presiding in. It doesn't change the realm you're presiding in. Yeah. I mean, you're still on this earth that has, I mean, the earth itself, the world we live in, the universe, the realm, not just our physical bodies as humans is fallen, the world is fallen. Yeah. Like the whole state we're in. Yeah. And you haven't left that state after being saved. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So it actually wouldn't make sense for us to be fully sanctified and perfected in this state, even after salvation. That actually would be like, well, how is that? Yeah. Does that make sense? Yeah, yeah. But I don't know how to, like I said, I'm not good at explaining things, but.
Yeah. I ain't got nothing I can add to that. I know that Liven Parrish up over there, he's been drab for the last two podcasts with that question. He's wanting to say something so bad over there, he can't stand it. So
he quit taking his steroids.
Yeah.
He's been taking steroids to try to get his triceps big, and that's why he's been so dang ornery and mean.
He got sick on purpose, so they prescribe him steroids.
Yeah, and he said, can I get some of that androgel?
Man, I've had strep throat for 4 weeks. Can I get some steroids?
Yeah, just give me that kind that's the shot. I see a lot of people talking about TRT or something.
I need some Prezidone.
Oh, my
Extra strength Prezidone.
Yeah. Yeah, and so he told me that he realized that's why he'd been moping around and being so mean and ornery, is because he was on them steroids. So he's starting to liven up because now he's off of that. And he got a little bit too prideful. trying to get them triceps back at 72 years old.
Yeah.
You ought to know during geriatric ain't gonna get no big arms.
Brave. Y'all want another patron?
Yeah, let's hit one more.
This comes from rock superstar Tom Russell.
Oh yeah.
Every time I think about the rock, there's a good handful of folks I think about, and Tom and James Niggermeyer's definitely two of them.
Yeah, he may be back.
I mean, Tom did the whole rock in them dang boots. You remember them rocky boots?
Oh yeah, he could barely walk too.
Tom's my buddy.
Yeah, he did good.
Why is it the more we commit our life to God that we tend to go through really hard seasons in our life? Is it to teach us to be faithful and trust in His plan, or just a coincidence?
No, I think it's because you'd have to deny yourself. You could probably do the same thing that you're doing. It's probably situation specific.
Right.
He might be asking like, following the Lord, now I'm sick. That's a different thing. But we can be in the same situation with different mindsets, and one be miserable and the other one not be miserable, because we are now trying to die to ourselves. Yeah. I'm not one that thinks the demon's behind every bush and causing everything. There are people. There's a clip on YouTube, a guy saying, let me just see if I don't know if I still got it or not.
You said demon, and Parrish woke up again.
Yeah, he'll do that.
He's about to come alive.
But it's
He
not
was actually just checking behind the bush right now.
It's not about that all the, sometimes things are happening. We see that in the Bible with Daniel, when he was calling on the Lord and the angel came down and said he got caught in the battle and this and that. And so, that is sometimes a part of it, but it ain't every time that's happened. Sometimes, and I'm not saying this is Tom, but sometimes it's just the nature of what we're doing and who we are at that point. And but certainly there will be things happen. Sometimes it's because you're having to die to yourself, like I said, but then I don't think it's wrong to say that sometimes things come against you because you are moving in the right direction. Things get, that's really a hard question to ask without knowing a situation.
Well, I don't feel there's any coincidences at all, and I believe the closer you move, the easier it is to see that things are sinful and messed up. And also, the closer you move, like way back in the past, I've said it, Parrish has said it the other day, many people say it, if it was before I was saved, I'd act up and do this or do that. Yeah. And so you're fighting with that too. Like you're fighting with the fact that you're not called to be miserable, that you can't be that way anymore too.
Yeah.
And that is I don't want to say a type of misery, but that's a fight in and of itself too. That, hey, I could reconcile this by whooping the fool out of this person, but you can't. Yeah. You shouldn't. You shouldn't even have that thought. You should be dying to that, and you're trying to fight with that misery too, so on and so forth. Yeah, there ain't no coincidence.
I found this clip here. Listen to this.
Told me I was sick. I didn't speak in tongues. I cut out fried food after 8 o'clock.
Was that the clip? He cut out fried food.
It wasn't
the devil. It was Haagen-Dazs ice.
Here, let me.
The doctor told me I was sick. I didn't speak in tongues. I cut out fried food after 8 o'clock. It wasn't the devil. It was Haagen-Dazs ice cream at 4 o'clock in the morning. Some of y'all binding the devil. Throw away your ice cream. The blood is going around the house. The blood right now. I plead, shut the ta-da-da-da. You're throwing all of the stuff. It's not Satan.
Good night.
So don't talk about people that are fornicating when you have 5 pieces of cake at one time. Your sin. One is called fornication, the other is called gluttony. Both of them are sins.
I agree with him.
Yeah.
I mean, really.
Yeah.
He never got off the rails with that. I mean, I'm pretty in line with all that.
That's to the point. Part of his question is not for Tom specifically, but for other people. that would say, you know, here they are, 400 pounds laid up at trade day, sprawled out, sweating like a daggone hog, and they say, here I am on, got diabetes.
I got these little Debbies. They're a little out of date.
Yeah.
They're $1 a piece.
Come down with everything, high blood pressure, and they'd say, oh, the Satan's just after me. No, he ain't. Throw away your ice cream. Quit eating fried chicken. And so sometimes that's the case. Sometimes we're doing things that we wouldn't see. But it's the way we've lived our whole life, and we don't see nothing wrong with it. And we say, oh, now all of a sudden this is happening. Well, it could be caused naturally. It might not be supernatural that those things are happening
natural.
to you. Yeah. So, but that's a really hard question to answer. I mean, I think the only way to answer it is, if it was asked, do you face supernatural challenges when you are following Christ? And I think that we can say yes, biblically. We can say we do face supernatural challenges biblically. But it's also important to look and say, is something I am doing causing this to myself? And that it may not be supernatural. And is this pain and the struggle that I'm going through, is this just because now my mindset is on dying to yourself? And if so, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good. So that's a good question.
From the water to the wilderness. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Parrish said from the water to the wilderness. When John baptized Jesus, that's where he went.
Yeah. There you go. Good word.
Oh.
Parrish.
Well, y'all got anything else? We can keep going.
I ain't got nothing else to say.
Potathon.
I ain't got nothing myself.
All right. Well,
Super chats.
yeah, we do have super chats. Let me go get that.
Go grab them super chats. Me and Chili will keep the audience entertained while you're grabbing them.
We will.
Yeah.
That ain't got the camera on, y'all.
Dang.
Night.
The camera's not on us?
Well, forget that. We ain't
Now it is.
Chili was throwing up gang signs.
All right. We got Marty Bingham coming in at $4.99.
No way. Marty Bingham sent in a
Yeah.
super chat?
He said it's obvious that Joe Rogan has invited Chad to be on his show in order to lay the groundwork to interview Cornbread.
I don't know nothing about that.
I don't either.
Either.
That's pretty big.
I don't know what you talking about, Marty.
That'd be big.
Stick that asking Patreon questions, Marty.
That'd be
All
big. He come back in at $4.99. I mean, you don't approach a man of cornbread stature directly. You start with the support staff and work your way up.
Yeah, he's got a point there. Yeah.
Do you think you're Marty's favorite?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Me and Marty's buddies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He come back in at $19.99.
Good
said-
night, Marty.
Ask Chad not to overuse the words rectum and anus or talk too much about eating turtles so he doesn't mess it up for cornbread, but he probably will anyway.
Probably will. Good. I think about Marty on the rock, too.
Yeah.
I think about Marty at the proving ground.
I remember when Marty dropped his whole roll of bagels. He took a whole sleeve of
I know,
bagels and
that
stuffed
was
in his
ridiculous.
overalls and dropped them. And
On the rock?
yeah, I found them.
He literally did the rock like it was no big deal, too.
Yeah. Yeah, he
Yeah.
did. He crushed it.
Yeah, he did.
That's wild.
Brian Burris come in at $4.99 and said that he thinks Joe really wants to interview Biscuit. I don't know where all this talk
What are
about
they
this
talking
is.
about Joe for? I mean, good night.
Yeah,
Great.
got a picture of a baby doll here.
Oh, wow. Who sent
Who
that?
sent that?
I don't know, Dad.
That's an evil baby doll.
Dang.
Mike Hoffman, $19.99. Just hoping for some pizza and a Coca-Cola during the rock.
Oh, well, Mike's coming in August, so
See,
you're gonna be
oh, he's
you're gonna be thinking about Mike after a while.
See
yeah.
you all in 9 days. Thanks for holding everything together while C. Marty for his new name is away.
Oh yeah. What is his new name?
I don't know. He'll have to come up with it, I guess.
I can't wait to see Mike.
We had Mark Stoddard come in, Tugboat,
Oh, he's my buddy.
$19.99. God bless you all.
Good night. Thank you, Mark.
We had Cornbread Crumbs come in at $4.99.
Who is Cornbread Crumbs?
Chad missed my super chat last week because he had to hit the head.
Oh, okay.
Who is Cornbread Crumbs?
That's that guy that follows corn. That's what corn leaves behind.
That's somebody in Somerville?
Probably. Yeah. Zach Wagner coming at $10, combining forces with the Reaper to be tag team champion.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm open for partners there, Zachary.
Joke aside, I'm looking forward to pushing myself to my limit with this group.
Good.
Oh, we had Dew come back in at $9.99. Y'all remember him?
Yeah.
Something from what you guys went over Monday. Jesus said, whose likeness is on the coin, and it's the face of Caesar, so give to Caesar what's his, and God's what is God's. We were made in his image.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Go. That was do.
Where's little Virgil?
Appreciate you, do.
He fell off.
Hey.
Harvest McCullough.
Oh, I love working here.
He gave $20. He said,
You
"Nice,
believe he did too.
nice work, Ruck Team 1, on hitting the group goal. Next 10 weeks is going to be big."
It's gonna be real big.
Is
I wonder
he
if
in the
that's
ruck?
Somebody from Ruck Team 1.
I think it's Tom Russell.
You think so? You think so?
I do.
No.
That's my prediction. I think it's Tom.
You think it's Tom Russell?
God, if I'm so off on that, that's embarrassing. But I don't know.
Harvest McCullough. Who would do that? I don't know.
Well, we had TJ McLaughlin
It's
come in at
somebody who-
$9.99.
It's somebody who really likes Harvest McCullough. And I think Tom really likes Harvest McCullough.
TJ McLaughlin.
McLaughlin,
Oh, yeah, Rock.
$9.99. In all we do, do it as unto Christ, which includes pursuit of personal excellence
Yep.
and furthering his kingdom. Do both in that context. Love y'all, Rock 002.
I was fixing to say, what was he, Team 2 or 3?
Two,
Rock
he
Team
Thank you,
2.
TJ.
And that concludes Super Chat. We appreciate all you guys for those. We appreciate y'all tuning in. If you got something out of today's episode, then share it with somebody. And if you didn't, then share it with somebody. So we'll see y'all on Monday, Lord willing. Cut it off.